I'm here with Iris and Stewart Boston in Almonte, Ontario, and we thought we would ask you a little bit about how you feel about your interlock roof that you've had now for almost...
Nearly 7 years.
Nearly 7 years. Yeah. And so I think maybe what we'd like to do is just get your comments, your general comments on what you think of the roof and some of the things that perhaps have occurred to you over the time you've had it. And then I'll maybe ask you some specific questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, what we feel about the roof is it's very reassuring to know that that is the last time we'll have to do a roof, particularly with the quality of the other types of roofs that you now find that don't seem to last as long as the manufacturers would hope or allege. So that's a comforting thought. It's very attractive. That's due to us, of course. We chose the colour.
In fact, the colour was chosen when I was out the room, and I was told when I came back we made an executive decision, but it was the colour I would have chosen.
Yeah.
So there.
And we also know that you mentioned when we have the roof done that it would increase the value of the house 10%, and this has been confirmed by our bank and by our insurance company. So that's people worth knowing.
That's comforting too.
And if you take that into consideration, we have made a significant profit.
Yeah, your roof was not just free, you actually made some money on it.
We made some money on it.
Well, let's not pretend it wasn't costly. It was
costly.
It's still a lot of money to put out at one time, but it is proving to be worth it. I mentioned to you that our next door neighbours, when we first moved here 9 years ago, our next door neighbours were just putting a new roof on their house, and they have done it again since then. So they've had two roofs for sure in 9 years. And I imagine they were 30-year tiles. We know they last about 10 years, don't they?
Yeah, or less.
Or less.
The other thing that happened was we were roofing another house in Constance Bay, and we were looking for, well, we decided not to take the one-man operations in case they weren't around if anything went wrong. And we decided to go with a major company who would be around with all sorts of guarantees. And that was fine until you wanted them to honour the guarantees. Mm-hmm. And then it became, well, Iris took care of that, but they didn't know they were dealing with Iris.
It was a long fight till I got my way.
And we didn't want that again.
No, of course you didn't. The other thing I might ask you is, now that we know that it's been almost 7 years since your roof was done, can you tell? Because we know the neighbours have done 2 roofs in the last 9 years. It's been 7 years since we did yours. Is it distinguishable? Is there any change whatsoever since the day we did it?
Not that I can see.
No, not I can see.
No, I didn't think so either.
And they cleared up pretty nicely after they'd finished, so I haven't even found any bits on the ground in that time.
No, it's been just fine.
There you go. Well, might I ask you why you chose Interlock Lifetime Roofing as opposed to something else?
As opposed to another one, even as opposed to another officially Lifetime. Partly we noticed advertisements, partly your company was looking for a display house in the area, so we were going to get a deal on it. I like the tile look as opposed to the strip.
Yeah, the sheets.
And the other ones did not look attractive. And you explained to us how that you wouldn't be taking the old roof off, but would be building a new roof on top. And that was not the case with a couple of the other places I talked to. And I also liked the way you weren't a hard sell, because I react very badly if someone says you have to have this is the best thing since sliced bread, etc., etc. But you looked at us, noted our ages, and said, I don't really know what to tell you because I don't know how long you're going to be in the house. You may not stay for long enough to get your money back, but you may. And really, that is what sold me, because you weren't pushing, you were telling the truth, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, at Interlock, we try to treat people the best we can.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do the neighbors say about your roof?
We've had a few people comment on it and say they like it. And there is one place at our kitchen, which is upstairs, where you can look out and you can get very close to the roof. And they often come into the kitchen to have a look. And I actually still have the folder, the original folder that you gave us, and I keep one tile in there, and so people can hold it. And they say, gee, it's lighter than we expected. Now, I'm supposed to get a deal if anyone buys any. I haven't persuaded anyone to buy one yet, but I'm hoping.
I know you've been trying, though.
Trying.
I know you've been trying. May I ask you, for your honest opinion, your thoughts on Interlock itself, the company, how you were treated by the company, by our installers, that rep guy that you dealt with?
That rep guy, yeah. The rep guy I still like. The installers arrived on time, did the work on time, cleared up well after themselves. I got advance notice when they were coming. Any question I had, I phoned and I got a straight answer. I had no problem.
Yeah, I think we were treated very well. We had a good impression of the company. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What did you have on your roof before we did it?
Well, we had recently moved into the house, so it was presumably the ordinary type shingle,
Shingles, yeah.
which supposedly was 25-year shingles, which clearly wasn't, because the house was only 7 years old when we moved in. And this is an area which does get a lot of wind, and there have been a few houses down the street. We had a big windstorm last summer, and a few houses had to be re-roofed after that. We didn't. So it was the what I call the ordinary tiles, and I suppose they're still up there underneath, but they're
Yes,
fine.
they are.
Yeah.
We just lose a few trees, as you can see.
Yes, on occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, those old tiles are not weathering anymore. Now
No.
they're becoming a substrate for the,
Right.
for the
Right.
new roof.
Which the other thing that I've heard people say negatively about
excuse me.
aluminum roofs in general is that they are noisy. We have not found that. The only place on our roof that's noisy is when it rains on the skylights that we have. We don't hear it on the roof.
That's wonderful.
I think the
Listen-
noisy metal roofs are where they're in sheets.
Yes.
And then it's like World War III when you get a rainstorm. You know,
A lot of those types, the roofs are installed on strapping.
Yeah.
And so there's
it
this.
bounces.
Yeah.
Bounce.
And so
Yeah.
it really becomes an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Whereas these are installed tight to the roof. I thank you for taking your time with us and for your
Pleasure.
for your frankness and honesty. We will continue to take good care of you and maintain a relationship, and perhaps we'll do this again in another 7 years.
Another 7
7
years
years.
or more.
How about
Okay.
that? Thank you so
Thank you.
much.